Before we get to all of it, we need to talk about the news. Our first story this week. The Odyssey tickets are going on sale a year before Christopher Nolan's movie opens in theaters. Andy, this is insane. Unhinged marketing from Universal. What do you know about this?
Well, if there's one thing I love with the movies, and that's a hype train. My hype train for Superman started in December, if not before that, and that's what this is. It's basically a PR stunt to get people excited about the Odyssey and get people to write about it, which they're doing. So AMC is going to be listing just I think the IMAX showings. You can buy tickets starting on Thursday, a full year in advance. And like I said, it's a PR stunt. It's a smart thing. And if I can get those tickets to the Cinemark near us, I'll definitely pick those up. But it's funny. It's a little tongue in cheek, but I'm here for a good hype train.
It's so funny because people who are outside of like film Twitter and like movie sphere think that like A won't even hear about this, and B will think it's absolutely insane, and it is. But it's very specific, all right? This is not every IMAX theater selling tickets a year in advance. There's only like 10 or 15 or however many of these 70 millimeter IMAX film theaters there are in the world, all right? I want to say there's something like 15, maybe 17. Last number I heard was something like 10. There's not many, all right? They're all over the country. Some of them are outside the US. We happen to live very close to one. For Andy, it is his primary theater that he goes to. They have this screen. This is where we saw Dune. This is where we saw Oppenheimer. This is where Interstellar did their 10th anniversary screening. This is a big deal for the format. This is the way Christopher Nolan intends for you to see it. Those are the only theaters selling a year in advance, all right? Those like 10 specific screens, and it's not even every show. It's only certain ones, probably early ones. Twitter started to hear about this yesterday. Andy sent me a DM about it. I thought it was bogus. Today it's officially rolled out. Variety has an article. They are selling these things this far in advance. What is this, Andy? Is it hype train or hucksterism? Like, what are we looking at here? Because I fall in the line of hucksterism, but also I'm absolutely going to buy these tickets if I can get them because I want to see them in that theater. That's where I'd like to see the Odyssey.
I mean, it's a very smart PR stunt. Like I said, the trades are writing about it. Everyone on Twitter is talking about it. The haters are saying it's ridiculous. But I mean, if it's available, I will buy them. I know exactly what seats I'm going to buy. Row E, where that has a little bit of extra leg room at our IMAX. So it is a little ridiculous, but I mean, I would definitely buy those tickets and get them. I don't even know what I'm going to be doing a year from now, but I will be in that seat come July 2026.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I don't know where exactly I'm going to be, but I know I want to see the Odyssey. I know Nolan doesn't miss, and I know is for a little perspective on these specific theaters. Our one theater here in Dallas that has this IMAX 70 millimeter capability, they had sold out shows for Oppenheimer months in advance. Sold out every seat, even the front row corners. All right. They added shows round the clock for Oppenheimer. They were running 24-hour cycles. You get tickets to go see Oppenheimer at 3 a.m. You can actually do the same for Superman right now at this specific theater because the demand is so high for tickets. And they still sold out. They did the same thing with the Interstellar 10th anniversary screening. And that was the 10th anniversary of Interstellar. Like, people who want to see this movie in this specific format will go to great lengths. And when you find out that you can get the tickets, whenever you get them, you jump on it. And I think it's bogus. It's like some concert venue, like ticket master behavior. But like, I'm also going to buy them. So I don't like it. Nobody should do this. Also, I'm going to support it with my money. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, I don't feel good about it, but I'm going to play because I want to see the tickets there. Yeah, I want to see the movie there.
Yeah, it's a smart bit of marketing and, like I said, creating hype for the movie, along with they're rumored to drop the teaser that played in front of Jurassic Park, and also Superman is probably going to drop online so more people can see it as well. It actually doesn't reveal much. Chris Nolan has done much better teasers in the past, but it's fine. But it's going to be the big movie of next summer, and they're starting that hype train today.
Yeah, it's an underbaked teaser for sure, and haters will see it and say, that's nothing. Oh my God, who cares about this? whatever, dog. If it's not for you, like, you don't gotta tell the rest of us about it. Keep your bad opinions to yourself. All right. The rest of us are going to be in Odyssey in July next year when we get our tickets on Thursday. We got to talk about the Hot Wheels movie. This is a headline right out of Apple TV's The Studio. Jon M is going to be directing the Hot Wheels movie for Warner Brothers and Mattel. That's right. Crazy Rich Asians and Wicked director Jon M is going to be doing a Hot Wheels franchise film for Mattel, the toy brand, right? Very exciting, I think, if you're a car toy head. What do you know about this, Andy?
Well, back in 2019 is when Warner Brothers acquired the Mattel brand, or when they made a deal to kind of collaborate on films and TV and utilize the property. And so after the huge success of Barbie with Greta Gerwig, now they're looking to the Hot Wheels brand to be the next big thing that Mattel does, with Jon M. Chu, who of course did Wicked and In the Heights. We don't know anything about plot or story. That it's a real vague thing where, like, it's more than just about speed. It's about playing with toy. I don't know. I have no idea what angle they're going to take on this movie. Could be brilliant, could be a flop. It's really kind of hard to tell. They'll probably get somewhere in the middle. It probably won't be Barbie, but it probably won't flop either.
Yeah, I'm imagining something like between Transformers and Fast and the Furious, right? Which, by the way, if you're casting this movie, you would do well to get Vin Diesel in there somewhere for a good laugh. Like, even just some goofy side role talking about family or something before his little toy car gets run over. Yeah, I don't know if live action, don't know if it's all animated, no idea. But Jon M. Chu's got, big vision. Obviously, Wicked's had a lot of success. Wicked Part 2 is coming out soon. He had a lot of success with Crazy Rich Asians. In the Heights didn't do quite as good, but it was still a big Broadway adaptation. Like, I think he can do it. If anything, I'm a little bummed he's stuck on a Hot Wheels movie. I would guess that this is like a one for you, one for them kind of situation, right? That it's so old in Hollywood studios that Jon M. Chu makes whatever Warner Brothers wants, and then they will give him a blank check to make whatever he wants. But at the same time, he just made 2 Wicked movies for Warner Brothers, so I don't know. Like, I don't know why he owes them like another good one before they finally give him the dream project he's looking for. But it just does. It feels a little rote. Feels a little bit like director who's got some talent is landing in IP jail and has to do a movie for Mattel.
Yeah, it's you want to see better from directors, especially, I mean, Wicked was a huge hit. He's got this Wicked Part 2 coming out this year as well. Yeah, you would just wish he was attached to a better movie. Like, it's got to be, it feels like a downgrade after Wicked.
It does a little bit. Maybe it'll be like Barbie, right? Maybe they'll have some slick script from Noah Baumbach and it'll work and people will go for it. I don't know. Maybe it'll be paired with a movie like Oppenheimer and we'll be watching Hot Wheels Oppenheimer summer, like Barbie had. Like, who knows? Like, anything could happen. Kids will probably turn out for it, but yeah, keep an eye on this space for more Jon M. Chu Hot Wheels news. Ne Zha 2 is finally coming out in the U.S. in English. We already covered this movie when it came here in its original Chinese language, but it's not coming from who you'd expect, and we definitely don't know who to expect for the cast. What do you know about this?
So back in February, Ne Zha 2 came out, which was the sequel of a big animated mythical film in China. It went on to gross $2.2 billion. That's billion with a B. Highest grossing movie of the year that everyone refuses to talk about, like it's not the biggest thing. Like Avatar 3 is going to have a challenge to unseat this thing, and it may not. So biggest film of the year so far. We said back then in our review that they would benefit from an English dubbing, and so that's finally happening, and it's going to be coming out next month, August 22nd. Michelle Yeoh is starring in a lead role that we don't know which one. It's not going to be Ne Zha because that's kind of a child role, and you need someone who does that kind of child voice acting. Also, a lot of the other roles are actually male roles, so I don't know. She might be doing the mother, something like that. We're not real sure, but I'm excited that this is going to get an English release, and I'd be interested to see what kind of interest there is for it. It was huge internationally, obviously really big in China. Will it be big in the States as well, or will it just kind of be overlooked?
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing for this to me is who's distributing it. It's coming from A24, which is weird because A24 does not typically get to be a part of multi-billion-dollar franchise releases. Like, that's a real big fish for them. Don't know how they landed it. don't know who they've got that was shaking hands and making it happen over in China to get the distribution rights to this, but they should clean up pretty good. I mean, maybe the big studios just didn't want to be attached. Maybe there was some big asking price. Like I don't know, but whatever it is, like A24 is got a tiger by the tail. Hopefully, if it does well here in the U.S. Like Andy said, we don't know a lot about our voice cast, but we went and saw it. It's a real good time. Big visuals. I'm seeing the way something like K-pop Demon Hunters is popping after we covered it a couple weeks ago. There's a good chance that with the right trailer and the right marketing, like this could come out and make big money here. It certainly already did in China. So yeah, I don't remember what episode we covered it on, but you can hit the YouTube channel for a review. It's floating out there, and we will probably recover it here as well because even our review did pretty good. Like this movie was so popular that even us posting it did well. So I'm very interested to see how it performs again.
I think what I'm looking forward to is the fact that it looks like a family-friendly Pixar movie, and while it is kind of for all ages, it's definitely got more action and more violence than the normal Pixar or Illumination or DreamWorks animation thing would have. And parts of it are kind of scary, and just it's audiences are different over there. They apparently tolerate a little bit more childish violence, but there's going to be people who take kids that are too young, and they're going to have nightmares from like the Dragon Lords are really scary, and it's really violent. It's not gory. There's not like blood and guts, but it is more action than you might expect from an animated film. I can't wait for people to take their kids that are too young to it.
Yeah, absolutely. We got cooked in the comments in our review for saying it was a kids movie. A bunch of people were like, "This is not a children's film." It's like, well, in the United States, it is, dog. Like, I get maybe where it came from, that it appeals to broader audiences, but like, it absolutely slides into the DreamWorks Pixar category here. Even if it's tackling bigger themes, even if it's got a little bit more action on screen, and it's a good time. Like, I think a lot of kids would enjoy watching Ne Zha too. So yeah, go check out our review on the channel if you want to find out more about it. We will keep up with it as we find out more before it comes here in August. One more story before we get to Superman. We're going to talk about the box office. Superman did pretty good here in the United States. Pretty good, but maybe not so good overseas. What do the numbers look like?
Superman's a hit, at least domestically. Came in with 125 million domestic open, 220 globally. I was hearing everything from 100 billion to 150 million dollar expectations, which is way too wide. Warner Brothers was on the more conservative, and 125 is a great start. Superman doesn't really do well overseas because it's seen as very much an American thing, very patriotic things, which just doesn't translate the way a lot of other superhero stuff like Batman or the Avengers or other things. So doing really well in the States, not doing quite as well as other movies of the same caliber would do, but it's still off to a pretty strong start.
Yeah, really outstanding. I mean, people are comparing it to like the release of Deadpool Wolverine, right? That was another comic book movie that crossed $100 million. So it's got a really strong start here in the United States, and I couldn't be happier, right? Like, Superman is so much more than just like the next Superman iteration. This is what DC is doing next, and DC is the primary rival to Marvel Comics. So for our 37 Marvel movies, we sure would like to see a little bit more competition in the creative space. And with James Gunn at the helm now, it seems like DC could be that. So Superman has a lot riding on his shoulders, right? And I couldn't be more pleased to say, especially after having seen the film, that it's doing well. I do wish it was doing better overseas, and I'm surprised it isn't. Like, there's that old, I don't know, idiom or story or a parable about how all around the world, every kid will recognize like a few key characters, like Mickey Mouse and Pikachu and Superman, dog. Like, everybody knows who Superman is. And I guess I kind of always believed that, but between Man of Steel and the last few years, it just seems like they've gone in a darker, a little bit more adult direction on the big screen. So maybe audiences are just a little bit more wary. Maybe they need that word of mouth for it to spread out. But for what's here, it seems like DC's off to a real strong start.
Yeah, I read that this is the first DC film to make over $100 million on the opening weekend since Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman, 2017, 8 years ago, that they really haven't had like a really huge success. So this is off to a great start. It'll be interesting to see what kind of legs it has and if it continues to do better overseas. Some other numbers for you. Jurassic World Rebirth came in second with 40 million and crossed 530 million globally. That's a huge huge hit. Dinosaurs still rule the box office, if not the earth anymore. F1 came in at $13,375 million. Very respectable. The budget and marketing for that it keeps shifting. I don't know what exactly they need to make more money, but it probably needs to hit probably 450 or so. But that's Apple's best performing movie ever, so they're really happy about that. How to Train Your Dragon came in fourth at $7.8 million. Also crossed the $500 million mark to be $560 million. And Elio came in fifth at $3.9 million.
Yeah, Elio's still underperforming for Disney Pixar. Bit of a bummer. Meanwhile, like Jurassic World just seemingly can't be stopped. Overall, pretty solid July at the movies, and all an interesting seedbed for Fantastic Four coming out in just a couple weeks. Andy, how do you think that's going to do?
It's really hard to tell. I mean, there's some excitement for the brand still. Marvel's been struggling, so I don't think it's going to be huge. It's not going to be a Deadpool Wolverine. I mean, I think it could do about as good as Superman. If it underperforms compared to Superman, that might be troubling. If it's less than 100 million, I think Disney Marvel are going to be a little shaky on that, because it's a long ways until Spider-Man 4, Spider-Man Brand New Day, and then of course Avengers Doomsday.
Well, I do want to get to Superman. Any more thoughts on box office before we jump into recent watches?
I'm ready. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Well, before we get into it, this segment we've been doing at the top of the show, and I thought maybe we'd try moving it around a little bit. Always growing, always changing. So before we get into Superman, Andy, I got to know, what have you watched in the last couple of weeks? Just off of the show, real quick. Just a quick, I don't know. What have you been watching when you're not doing movies for the podcast?
Caught up on a couple movies and TV. I have completely abandoned The Bear season 4. I watched the first three episodes and just couldn't. Yeah. I know there's a wedding episode, but I'm like, that's 4 or 5 episodes away. I don't want to sit through. So I think I'm just kind of done with the show. I got bored with it, and I know they're half-hour episodes, and I just can't. And I'm not going to force watch stuff. We don't. We don't get paid enough. We don't get paid anything, but I'm not going to force watch stuff. I also finished watching Watchmen, the HBO TV show from 2019. Love that. Still one of my favorite shows of all time. Incredible episodes. Episode 8, A God Walks Into a Bar, is one of the best episodes of TV ever. Comic book fans will love it. I took a look at Aftersun 2022, beloved film with Paul Mescal, about him and his daughter, father-daughter story. They're on vacation, but he's kind of struggling as a dad. That's such a good movie, and it was the debut film from Charlotte Wells, and kind of blew everyone away a few years ago. And I also took a look at an early Tom Cruise film, 1985's Legend, fantasy film directed by Ridley Scott, starring a very, very young Tom Cruise, and also Mia Sara that we just saw in Life of Chuck, but also Ferris Bueller's Day Off fame. Very weird picture, man. They were making some really dark fantasy films in the 80s. It has got some real kind of Lord of the Rings-esque, like very orc-looking things. Like they're like barbecuing humans at the beginning. It's some real dark stuff. And I was reading about it, and of course, Ridley Scott can't leave anything alone. And there's multiple cuts of this film. There was a U.S. cut, a European cut, and there's a director's cut, which is a little bit longer and has a different ending completely than what's in the film. So, of course, he couldn't leave it alone. But it was interesting to see that first time I'd ever watched.
Watchmen is a great show from HBO. Absolutely worth watching. Like you said just a few years ago. God Walks Into a Bar, I think, is one of the best episodes of TV maybe ever. It is so incredible. Damon Lindelof on the writing. I mean, you Lost, Leftovers, like just does not miss a beat. It's one of those episodes towards the end of the season when just all the questions start to come together. All the puzzle pieces start to slide into place, and you start to see the whole image. It's one of those episodes of TV that just, After Sun rocks. We actually covered it on the channel previously. You can go back and check out our review on YouTube. It's floating around out there somewhere. And I think we probably had some words about the Watchmen show as well, because I remember watching that. And as for Legend, I've never seen it. And it's funny because when you told me you would watch Legend, the first thing I thought was, is that one Tom Cruise fantasy movie when like he never did fantasy again after that? And then the other thing you mentioned, you said it's that movie with Tim Curry with the giant devil horns. Tim Curry's the devil, like the red. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, never seen it, but boy, I know the visuals. Like just huge character design, big ideas. Worth the time, you think? If I haven't seen it, worth sitting down and watching?
I mean, I think it's worth for a historical aspect. I mean, it's a throwback to, it's a time capsule of the kind of filmmaking that was made back then. Because like they were building these elaborate sets. It was nominated for best hair and makeup because like the makeup effects are really good. The costume, I mean, it took hours to get people into hair and makeup, and Tom Cruise just had to put on like armor. So, but it's very cliche though. It's like 10 fairy tales that all kind of thrown together. It's like the light versus the dark. It's incredibly generic, but the performances are pretty good. Mia Sara looks like she was born for the role. She looks like a princess. Apparently Robert Downey Jr., Jim Carrey, and Johnny Depp were up for the role of Jack that Tom Cruise eventually got. So that's interesting to know. I think it's worth a watch for none other than to see Ridley Scott. But it was a bit of a disappointment at the box office. Didn't do well, and yeah, it's just kind of okay.
It was such a different time in '85 before we were all like, I don't know, it just swamped with like apps and devices trying to grab our attention at any 1 second memes. And all you had was like broadcast TV and what you'd go see at the theater, and then just like talking to your friends and hanging out and shoot the shit. So like, yeah, it's something like Legend coming out being this big, bold thing is absolutely bonkers. But back then it was like, hey, when else are you going to impress people, right? Like they got nothing else to do in their free time. Hit them with it. Hit them with the big devil horns. They'll love it. I'll check it out eventually. Anyway, we got to talk about our first big film of the episode. Andy's going to be taking the summary on this one. Sorry, real quick. For me, I didn't watch anything exciting. Nothing in particular. I'm always anxious to see what Andy's been watching, and me, I have very few picks. But hey, man, I got stuff going on. All right, big things happening behind the scenes for Zach. Best way to find out what's going on, come hit the YouTube channel. Come subscribe to the channel. See what we're up to. Big things happening over there to help us out a ton. With that, we got to get to our first review of the episode. All right, I'm done plugging the show. It's time to talk about the big man. All right, Andy's taking the summary. Please, whatever. He's going to do it. Andy, please take it away.
Superman.